The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is in fact the aftermath of Kenshiro Teraji, the amazing boy, in an amazing fight. It was a hellacious war where he won by the hairs of his chinny chin chin. He got a majority decision in Japan. Some people would say it's robbery. Some people would say it's a little bit of home cooking. But nonetheless, a great fight, a classic fight, and I wanted to discuss all the things that have transpired, all the reaction, all the possibilities for Kenshiro, what could be next for him in his career. As always, you guys know to my left, we got a man that really needs no introduction, for he's known the entire world over. It's the one, it's the only. It's Pops.
Welcome to the live, everybody that's here. Thank you so much, and fire away.
Yeah, man. So look, before we get into Kenshiro, before we get into the great fight with Canizales and all of the things that have taken place in the aftermath, program reminder for you guys. Just a quick little program reminder. Saturday, there will be a live fight reaction for Jaime Munguia versus John Ryder. So make sure you guys don't make no plans. Join us for that. It figures to be a really fun and intriguing fight and intriguing live. Also, this is day number 5 of our 90 days of boxing live series. For those of you that know, and for those of you that don't know, I'm going live every single day on this channel, and I'm doing it for 90 days. I started it 5 days ago, so from now to I think April 19th, we going live every single day. So yeah, man, lot of great stuff planned on the channel, a lot of great interviews, a lot of great content. So real appreciative, and I'm trying to see how professional I could be this year. So a lot of stuff happening. But before we get into Kenshiro, let's take some time to acknowledge, some of the comments that are here. We got Jesus M in the building. He says, saludos to Jesus M. What's good with it? Good to see you. He says, Eric Robles versus Liam Davies. Who wins? I don't have an opinion on that fight, to be honest with you, but good to see you, Jesus, and good to see the rest of y'all in here. Make sure y'all smash that like button and leave your comments down below. We'll definitely, take the time to interact with the fine folks, the fine viewers of True School Sports. But Pops, look, yesterday in the wee hours of the morning, we had an amazing fight, like classic fight, one of the all-time great fights in the light flyweight division's history, at least from ones I've seen, my lifetime.
I think at this live, we've seen everything. We've seen from bad judging to great fight.
Guys taking dives, look like, in the tension fight.
What happened? What didn't we get from this fight? For this fight,
decisions.
Yeah. For this fight, I really liked a lot was the white shark. I call him the white shark.
Kenshiro.
I think to me, he showed me toughness. He showed me will, and he showed me some heart. I think that was a lot for me because shout out to the Venezuelan fighter Canizales. What's his name?
Canizales.
Carlos
Canizales.
Because he came there, he was throwing some bombs. I don't know how Kenshiro actually held on and got the win.
Yeah. So. Well, let's jump into it, man, because we got some things want to talk about when it comes to Kenshiro. Smash that like button, go on the screen share. So one thing about Kenshiro, man, you can love, and I think he's going to become a very popular point of discussion as he continues to win because, Japanese boxing is on fire right now because of the emergence of Naoya Inoue. And a lot of people that haven't been exposed to Kenshiro Teraji are now being exposed to Kenshiro Teraji. So, some people have these debates about whether he's pound for pound or not. We'll get into that later in the live. But look, man, I'm going to echo the statement of some of these people on Twitter because Kenshiro is one of my favorite fighters, and I feel like he's all that. Honestly, he's all that. Here's what Benjamin on Twitter said. He said, Kenshiro has been my personal favorite fighter to watch for a while, but that just cemented his status as the most fun fighter to watch in all of combat sports. An instant classic.
Wow.
What do you think, Pops? What would you say? Because we watch a lot of boxing, right? Where does Kenshiro rank as far as the most exciting fighters in boxing for you?
I mean, I got to the middle of the pack, but after watching, to me, I've been watching the last couple of fights, and I think to me it was really a come out party for me from what I seen yesterday. From what I seen, for me the biggest thing is his toughness because when I seen him against Canizales, I said, man, Canizales is going to tear his ass up because I looked at Kenshiro as a bone, like a stick.
Like his frame.
Yes,
his frame is very thin.
His physique was very like, I'm like, man, this guy's going to run right through him. And this guy was throwing back and forth. And I'll tell you, that was the fight that I can actually say I got my money's worth to go see it. They were back in the middle. They were in the middle of the ring. They were in the corners. They were cutting off the ring. They were going back and forth the whole time. So it was a great fight. It was a true test to Kenshiro, and as the live goes on, will you have the discussion of Gonzalez?
Canizales,
Canizales.
Because he did do enough to win. But I thought, look, and I was saying, if you go back and you watch the live, what I was actually saying during the live, I said, look, Canizales tonight, if Kenshiro got his A game,
oh man,
he not gonna beat him. And really and truthfully, he may have. I think I have to watch it back.
Yeah.
I haven't rescored it for myself, but I think Canizales did enough to actually get a draw or potentially win. He fought that damn well.
Yeah.
So he was a damn good fighter. You know, he was former champion for a reason. And shout out to Tim Boxell. You know, a great account on Twitter. If you guys are on or X, if you're on Twitter or X, follow Tim Boxell. This guy covers the most random fights in boxing. If you want to know anything about these random fights during the week in random countries, this is the guy right here.
Seriously?
Yeah, he said Kenshiro can dig deeper than any fighter in the world. He has so many gears. He walks through fire every single fight, and he never flinches. And you know what? That's the thing that a lot of times in boxing, I feel like we have what I call boxing snobs. You know, these people, these boxing fans who can't appreciate exciting fights. It's like if the fighter ain't on the outside throwing 5 punches around, not doing nothing, you know, they gotta always hit on the guys that are actually exciting and good for the sport, right? But Kenshiro has shown in his career when shit gets hot in that ring, whether it be against Anthony Olascuaga, whether it be against, in this case, Canizales, Heki Butler, Hiroto Kayaguchi, you name it. He finds a way. He has that grit. You know, he has a certain grit about him that even some of the guys on the pound for pound list, I don't think have. And of course, you don't want to overuse and overtest that grit because, you know, as we've seen early in his career, he fought Masamichi Ibuki, got stopped. But he wound up having that kind of grit, having that special toughness inside of him to avenge the loss. He got stopped, and then he came back in the rematch, stopped him in 2 rounds. Yeah, avenge the loss.
I know after this fight, he was just saying that he was just glad and thankful
that he got through it.
That he got through it. He could carry those belts back with him because I'm willing to bet that as the fight was going on, he was saying, man, what do I have to do to get this guy out, you know? And it didn't happen, but he was just happy to have those 2 belts and say, I survived this. I'm going to learn from this.
It was such a mentally taxing fight. I never seen Kenshiro have to make so many adjustments in the fight because normally when you talk about Kenshiro and his style and his approach and the way he fights, he's normally, you know, he's a guy that he's comfortable from the outside, you know, working behind a stiff jab, setting up that beautiful steak knife sharp right hand. He may have, you guys know my favorite punch in boxing is a straight right hand. And out of all the great straight right hands in boxing, there's many guys with great straight right hands in boxing. Guys like, you know, I think Terrence Crawford got a great straight right hand. Philip Hergovich got a great straight right hand. Roman Gonzalez got a great straight right hand. But out of all the fighters in boxing, the man who, I mean, Better Biev as well got an amazing straight right hand. But I think there's a legitimate argument to be had and be made that the best and most sharp straight right hand in the whole sport, in any weight class, it might belong to the Amazing Boy.
Man, the crazy part, he's got power with that. Like
you don't look like he got power.
No, that's what I was saying.
Because you know, I seen Kenshiro in real life, and I'm not a big guy.
Yeah,
Kenshiro is smaller than me by you know a good amount.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there looking at him. I remember when I seen him because I remember when we went to the gym, we interviewed him.
Right.
I remember I saw him from the distance walking to the gym. I said, "That's it." Like you watch him on TV and you don't. I don't think he's gonna be this big guy.
Yeah.
But then when you see him, it's like he's even smaller than you thought he'd be. And I was like, wow. And he's getting knockouts at this size, right?
Jesus, yeah.
And so a lot of it, Kenshiro is great because he looks like one of these K-pop stars, like BTS. Like there's a little boy band that they got the same hairstyle as Ken. Their skin's nice and moisturized. Right. He looked like he part of BTS, one of them K-pop bands. But then he gets in the ring and he starts cooking that straight right hand. And it's over for you, right? So I would actually agree with Tim Boxell. I don't really see many fighters in boxing in any weight class that can dig as deep as Kenshiro when things really get hot in that ring. So he remains to me one of boxing's real consistent performers, you know. And that's what it is. So I just wanted to kind of set the stage there. You know, wanted to set the stage there for Kenshiro and really kind of just give him his flowers as one of the toughest fighters in boxing, one of the most skilled fighters in boxing. And obviously we'll get into Canizales, but let's get into some of these comments, man. I know we got 6 comments here. We got Michael Manning, one of my favorite people in this whole boxing community. He said, "We ain't here, champ. He's gonna need a little time off after that war." Yeah, like he's been in a couple wars recently, like the Anthony Olascuaga fight. That took a lot out of him, you know. And in fact, when I interviewed Ken, he said, he was on record. He said, look, at that moment in time when I interviewed him, he said that's his toughest fight to date. that took the most out of him. Now I probably think
This
this fight probably would say took the most out of him. But yeah, he did his thing. And he said that was a great live and a great fight. Yeah, absolutely. And then let me see. He says he definitely holds it down with the best walkout song. He has that. Yes, it's like I don't know the name of that song, but it's the little rock song he walks out to. He got the jacket, that real flashy jacket. My dad, that whole jacket is what my dad calls him, the white shark, because he looks like a shark.
Yeah,
right. Is that what you call? Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah. My man says, what do you think of Twitter users saying that Seigo Okui won? I mean, look, everybody has their opinion. I've already made mine very known about what I think about that fight. I thought that Delakian got screwed, and I know Delakian fanboy. Like I've never made a video about him until yesterday. Like, and I thought he won and won clearly. But again, boxing politics is everywhere. It ain't just in the USA or England. No countries above boxing politics and doing what they feel is best for their own pockets, right? So I'll leave it at that. I already said what I kind of needed to say. But shout out to you. Shout out to Michael Manning, and shout out to the drunk Irishman in the building. Good to see you in the chat, right? So, Pops, this is where the live gets real interesting, right? This is where I think I'm probably about to get real animated. And I think you will too. And I think the viewers are gonna really enjoy this part of the live. And the people that watch this video when I clip it and put it on the playback are gonna really enjoy this part. So naturally in boxing, when you get a fighter like Kenshiro Teraji, who's one of the most consistent performers, normally knocks the hell out of people in the ring. When he doesn't get a knockout, and he doesn't look like a pound guy, you get all these guys in and around his weight that start running their mouth. Yeah. They start, as the Brits would say, they start chatting shit, right? And it's no different with in this fight with Kenshiro, right? So we're gonna let the screen share. A lot of guys ran their mouths. Now, before we get into the guys that ran their mouths, I wanna make my preferences known and set the stage for you guys. I tweeted this yesterday after I saw many of these guys running their mouths. I said, and I quote, I hope all these fighters who are running their mouths about Kenshiro actually fight him. The dude made 12 career world title defenses and had an off night, and people had the nerve to say he's not that good. Please.
I'm with you on that one, BT. I think sometimes people start their own or talking too much without actually appreciating or underappreciating a guy like a Kenshiro. And I think it's not right. And all these motherfuckers that are coming out now, like the Puerto Rican from González, que viene aquí hablando mierda ahora, cuando él tuvo tiempo para fucking pelearlo, cabrón ese, perdón para no cabrón, pero respeto con puertorriqueño, pero me cojono. I'm pissed off because this guy right here, all of a sudden, he got something to bug up his ass, and all of a sudden, he's injury-free or whatever the fuck case has. He had a chance to fight this guy, didn't get in there.
He had a signed contract.
Yeah, and everything. And now he wants to come out to his horn. I like you, Boba. I respect you, Puerto Rican, but please shut the fuck up. Give this guy his flowers. He made all defenses on his fight. So I don't want to hear shit from nobody from the outside. Now they want to come out and say something.
So
he's only had been knocked down twice or whatever. Or he's only had
he got stopped a couple of years ago. But literally since he got knocked out, I think it was 2021.
Yeah.
Since he got knocked out, he's 4-0 with 3 knockouts.
Yeah, man.
Since he got knocked out.
I mean, so I'm gonna say it again. Most of the time, we say the casuals usually talk about the shit or about calling out, making their own proper opinion about somebody. But you're talking about a guy that's made 14 defenses, 12, and he's probably gonna be a Hall of Fame when he leaves or whatever. And you want to sit here and want to come out, bomba, sign the fucking contract.
All right. So look, as you guys see, my dad got carried away there, but look, as you can see on the screen, so shout out to Eddie Morales because this tweet was actually deleted, but Eddie Morales actually screenshotted it and sent it to me the minute it was tweeted. Thank you, Eddie, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have seen it. I tried searching for it on Twitter. It wasn't there. It was deleted. He deleted it because he probably got a lot of heat from it. Yeah. But he said, Jonathan Gonzalez tweeted minutes after the fight, he said, seeing Kenshiro today, I am more convinced than I am the best 108-pounder in the world. Now, listen, I have a lot of respect for Jonathan Bomo Gonzalez because he actually ended a historically horrible run of form where Puerto Rican boxers were losing seemingly every big fight to Mexicans. And he went into a fight on the road in California in a Mexican, crowd, and he upset a good fighter in Elwin Soto to become champion. And he's defended that belt, 2 or 3 times. And he actually, one of those defenses, he actually wound up going to Japan and taking the O of Shokichi Iwata, who's now emerged as one of the top contenders. And he was actually not the favorite to win that fight. So he's a real champion.
Right.
And I respect Jonathan
Yeah.
Gonzalez. But to echo my dad's passionate sentiments, this dude had a signed contract to fight Kenshiro, and he pulled out of that fight. And there's been a lot of,
back and forth.
Apparently he's been sick, so to speak, and now he's got to fight this other Puerto Rican dude on the Serrano or the Jake Paul card or whatever.
Yeah.
So my thing is, look, Kenshiro's timeline to try to become undisputed has lengthened because of Jonathan Gonzalez pulling out of fights. And so my thing is this: do what you got to do when you fight this Puerto Rican dude. I forgot the guy's name. I'm sure if Miracle Boxing shows up or somebody remind me who he's fighting.
Yeah.
Do your job. Be him. Be professional. Do your job. And make the fight happen. Because I'm gonna tell you this: when I was in Japan and I was in the presence of Kenshiro for about 2 hours at his gym. We sat down at a table. We did the interview. I talked to him at length about the Jonathan Gonzalez fight. Wow. So I know exactly what he thinks about it. And I'll just say this: I won't get too deep into it. I'll just say he loves that fight. Well, and he's very confident that when they fight, he's gonna beat the brakes off of him.
And when you have Punch Perfect Boxing here, did he ask me this question if they ever fought?
Sure. I didn't. But
look,
Jonathan Gonzalez is a good boxer. Like I think out of that southpaw stance, he give anybody problems on his best night. All of his losses in his career, they all came when he was at 112. He's never lost. He's undefeated at 108.
Wow.
He's a fantastic 108 pounder. So I'm not saying he's crazy, but my thing is, it's one thing to talk, but you're the only reason this fight hasn't happened. We're only sitting here in January 24th of 2024, because you kept pulling out the damn fight. So my thing is, I'm glad you deleted the tweet, because talk is cheap. Make the damn fight happen, because I do think, look, that's a southpaw orthodox matchup. Kenshiro got a deadly straight right hand, one of the best straight right hands in boxing. We know that the straight right hand is a southpaw killer. So I'm very intrigued to see how Jonathan Gonzalez is going to navigate the Kenshiro straight right hand and neutralize him. Because I'll tell you, if he can, if Bomba, to me, I class him very highly amongst the active Puerto Rican fighters, because the fact that he's actually went on the road, he's beat a Mexican in front of like a Mexican crowd. He beat a Japanese fighter in Japan. Yeah. He's a real champion.
He's a dog.
But the guys he's beating, as good as they are, the Elwin Sotos and the Iwatas, those are some good fighters.
Right.
But this is a whole different type of caliber. It's a whole different type of beast when you talk about the amazing boy in Kenshiro. So look, it's one of, in my opinion, right now, it is the fight to make in the light flyweight division. I know Kenshiro has expressed his desire to go up to flyweight, but he wants to finish this business at light flyweight, because he became champion in May of 2017. He's been at the world championship level for 7 years now.
Wow.
And he wants to really cement it. So my thing is, do what you got to do. And when the time comes and that contract gets signed, don't pull out next time. And look, he ain't the only one. Jonathan Gonzalez ain't the only one running his mouth. He ain't the only one. A lot of guys have been running their mouth about Kenshiro. And one of the other guys is the guy in the weight class right above, and a guy I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
And that's Sonny Edwards. Sonny Edwards said right here, I'm coming to Japan whenever it's offered. New Year's boxing in Japan is the Madison Square Garden for flyweights, and he's not wrong.
Wow.
Everyone knows that the Japanese, that New Year's Eve date, it's their equivalent of like what Cinco de Mayo is here in the States. Right. So I've already heard my interviews from last year expressing his desire to go to Japan. He remains consistent, and Sonny Edwards has even said he'd be willing to move down to 108 for a fight with for Kenshiro or the Adrian Curiel 7-0 Chinga winner. The winner of that fight. So
I mean, I like that. I like to go on that. I like that from Sonny Edwards. He's willing to do all that. But at the same time, what I expected him to do, and it's not about Inoue, but when he went to Japan and fought Inoue, wasn't Inoue, right? Inoue, right?
Who are you talking
about? Who Edwards fought? Who usually fought?
He never fought in Japan.
Oh no, he didn't.
Think about Paul Butler.
Oh, Paul Butler.
You get your Brits mixed up. You get your British fighters mixed up.
Though?
Bam Rodriguez.
Yeah, Bam Rodriguez. I mean, he changed his style. He better not do that if he comes down to 108 and fight Kenshiro, because he will take care of it.
And look, he got real vocal about Kenshiro. So he posted the highlight of him getting dropped, and then he said, "Is this the one that I should be scared of?" He's confident. He's confident. I like that. He's confident. And my thing is this. I think Bam fought Sonny Edwards fought the wrong game plan against Bam Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And so I think a Kenshiro fight would be a chance for some much needed redemption for Sonny Edwards. You know, I would like to see him actually fight like himself and not, you know, just try to fight in the pocket. Although it made for an entertaining fight, he didn't give himself the best chance to win that fight. You see what I'm saying?
A lot of people said that.
A win over Kenshiro for Sonny Edwards, I think, would really elevate his place in the sport because he'd be the first non-Japanese fighter to beat Kenshiro. And Kenshiro is one of the most consistent fighters in boxing today. I'll be honest with you. You know, I like Sonny. I think Sonny would have a chance in that fight. I wouldn't write him off. But that straight right hand, you better find a way to defend it. Because if you don't, it's gonna be currents for you too, Sonny. And I like Sonny Edwards. I'm a huge fan. He's one of my favorite fighters in boxing. So my thing is, look, I don't care if it's Sonny. I don't care if it's Jonathan Gonzalez. I don't care if it's the Nochinga Courier winner. When the time comes, these guys better step up and fight Kenshiro because you know they're doing a lot of talking. And I don't see a whole lot of action. But we'll see.
How you say they were flapping their gums?
We'll see. They flapping their gums. Let me see. We got a lot of comments in the here. Let me see. We got Eddie Morales. He says, "I got you, BT." Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you. Appreciate you, champ. Robert Sanchez, my main man out there in Austin, Texas. Hope all is well. He said, "What up, BT and Pop?" He said,
man?
"Calvin Ford is looking crazy right now." Yeah. I actually made a video about that. I gotta edit it, but it should be out tomorrow. But I'll talk about it a little bit here. Did you hear the comment with Calvin Ford about Shakur?
No.
So Calvin Ford, he did an interview. Calvin Ford was saying he was asked basically about Shakur Stevens' last performance and about if that would entice them, Gervonta Davis, to fight Shakur. And he pretty much in so many words said that why would I put Gervonta Davis in the ring in a situation where we can't do what we do? He actually said that.
He's out of jail now?
So in so many words, he was like, look, why would I put him in the ring with a guy who runs around? He basically said he's boring and that's why he's not fighting him. So what do you think about that? Just real quickly, what do you think about that?
I'm just gonna say just like this. I don't want to hear nothing about Tank until he go gets his 2 Ferraris and goes to Saudi and do what he's got to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear no shit from Calvin, his team, and nothing until I see him stop fighting the elites. That's my point.
Yeah, 100%. We got some interesting comments. Shout out to my man OMVR9. He says Kenshiro got to move up already. He proved everything in the Kayaguchi fight. Makes history at 112. Possibly performs better. He further adds to his legacy by beating a champ there. He has pound for pound talent. I don't even look when it comes to hit the subject of the pound for pound list. I don't even think it's a debate. He's a pound for pound top 10 fighter, and I'm gonna break that down very simply. It's easy. As far as him against Kayaguchi, I'm so glad you brought that up because how soon they forget. That was like you said and so eloquently in this comment down here. You said casuals do not understand that Ken versus Kayaguchi was Bud versus Crawford. Ken showed dimensions of that fight that he was superior, and not just that. Ken in that fight. Kenshiro in that fight, that is one of the most complete performances ever in a big fight, like of the last 5 to 10 years. And in that fight, I don't like to say guys fought a perfect fight, but that fight was as close to a perfect fight at that level, as you can get. That was on the level of an Inoue versus Foreman or a Crawford versus Spence.
It really defined them then.
Yeah, because Kayaguchi was supposed to be the one of the top guys. He was actually the lineal champion at 108 pounds.
Right.
And Kenshiro made him look a C-class fighter.
Destroyed him real quick.
Destroyed him. I don't think he won like 2 rounds.
Wow.
Knocked him out. So casuals did not understand that Ken. Yeah, exactly. He showed those dimensions, and that's what it is. Let me get to the couple more comments, and then we'll touch on Nochinga. I don't think Hrgovic was offered a spot on the March 8th card in Saudi. I'll tell you guys this. I reached out to Hrgovic earlier this week. I was trying to get him on the channel for an interview. I reached out to a lot of fighters for interviews this week. And Hrgovic is one of the guys that I reached out to for an interview. And basically, he got back to me and he said, what the fuck do you want me to say? Like, what is it to talk about? These guys don't want to fight me type thing. So
he just
I think based on his response, he's waiting for news himself. That's the news I can give you is that Filip Hrgovic seems slightly disgruntled with what's happening or not happening in Saudi. But I did reach out to him this week for an interview, and he's I told him to still come on. He hasn't got back to me yet.
That's very understandable, though, brother. Think about it. You get the Parker calling you going out, you get this fight, you get that fight, and then all of a sudden the same old thing happens again. So I can understand why he's frustrated, even with the real true sports there.
Facts. Young Gun TV says Homestead. Homestead. That's right.
That's right.
South Florida.
Forget it.
The whole South Florida. Homestead, Goulds, Perrine, Naranja. Leisure City, Dania Beach, Weston, Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, Delray Beach, Miami. The whole South Florida. Pembroke Pines. The whole South Florida. Good to see you, Brandon. Good to see you. Stop by to hit that like button. Catch you on the playback. Hope all is well, Brandon. Keep training hard. Now, look, one last thing about potential matchups for Kenshiro before we get into like the whole pound for pound thing and is he pound for pound? Last thing. Now, the other option that he does have, that being Kenshiro, is the winner of a potential Nochinga fight, the Nochinga Korea winner, which I've already kind of discussed. Shout out to Levi Luna. I'm a big fan of Levi Luna. Levi Luna, for those of you who don't know, he's a Nicaraguan reporter. This guy is like the authority on Romo Gonzalez. Like this guy he's done like he's been interviewing Romo Gonzalez since like way back when, right? So he had a tweet and he said, as long as Adrian Carrillo wins the rematch against Nochinga, and I think it will be like that, Kenshiro remains at 108. The fight I want to see most in that category is the clash between those two. Now, I did a video, I think last month, and I pretty much stated that fight to me would be a great representation. Both those fighters, I think, Kenshiro and Carrillo, they both are a good representation of the styles of the respective countries. Like I think Kenshiro is the Japanese style of boxing at like the highest level. And I think Adrian Carrillo, he's like a very high level representation of the Mexican style. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you this. You can't count your chickens before the eggs hatch. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like he got to get past Nochinga. Now, a lot of people are riding off Nochinga. They say Nochinga, he got knocked out. He's not that good. He's a hype job, exposed, this, that, and the third. Look, before he got knocked out, I was telling you guys that the fight to make at 108 wasn't Jonathan Gonzalez. It was actually Nochinga. Wow. Now he's got to basically win the title back the way he won it the first time. I don't know this, but when Nochinga became champion, he won it in Mexico against Mexican. Wow. So now he has to go back to Mexico and get it back again from a Mexican. That's crazy. So that to me is one of the most intriguing fights on the card. Mm-hmm. As far as the matchup, I think Carrillo presents some problems for Kenshiro, only because you look at what Canizales was able to do. Carrillo fights in a similar fashion. His punch selection is very similar. Mm-hmm. He has a great gas tank. Kenshiro isn't exactly Pernell Whitaker. You can hit him. Mm-hmm. But I think Nochinga has the length, the youth, and the size to also give Kenshiro a problem. So look, I'm good with him finding the winner. I think him versus either one of them two will suffice. Right. It'll be more than okay. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to give my quick little thoughts on that. And then, all right, just to get to the real part of the show. Because this is the hot after this fight, everyone in the manga got an opinion on this. Everyone got an opinion on this. Is Kenshiro a top 10 pound for pound fighter? Now, you guys already know my answer is. My answer is yes. And I'm going to do my best to make my case and kind of get you guys to see things from my point of view. I respect your point of view, but I'm going to give you guys my point of view. Mm-hmm. And if maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, but it's my point of view, right? Boxing talk. Boxing talk. Good old boxing talk. Now, I heard everything yesterday. When Kenshiro fought, that was crazy. I heard everything from he's not good, he's overrated, to he's the best pound fighter in the world. Because some people they're like, oh, he's good, but he's not an NOA. And some people, like, he's got Kenshiro, at least on Twitter, in the hardcore boxing community, mm-hmm. he has a cult fan base. Right. He's built that cult fan base in the hardcore boxing community where you got people like me who have been staying up all these years to watch him fight. And every time he fights, most of the time, like 95% of the time, he delivers in an exciting fashion. So one tweet here is this guy said, Kenshiro is a very good fighter, but please, let's put the pound for pound to rest. The performances and the resume don't reflect anything pound for pound worthy, which I couldn't disagree with more. He's been at the world championship level as long as many people on the pound for pound list. Mm-hmm. Currently. He's been he won his first world title in 2017, which was 7 years ago. Right. And he has now, and I'll get to that later on, 12 career world title defenses, which is top 5 most in the sport of boxing. And when he got his big signature fight against another Japanese fighter in Kawaguchi, he beat the freaking brakes off him and wasn't a competitive fight. So I'm gonna disagree with that guy right there. And look, this one I'm telling you, there was no happy medium. It was either he's not a pound for pound fighter or he's the GOAT. It's either one, black or white. It's one or the other. There ain't no in betweens. Right. you know. But look, I'll add this to my case right here. That's now 9 top 10 wins for Kenshiro in one of the strongest divisions in the sport. Is your favorite fighter doing that? And my thing is this:
Good question.
Not only is it 9 straight top 10 wins for Kenshiro Teraji in the division, but it's his 15th consecutive world title fight. How many of your favorite fighters have even been in 15 world title fights in a row at that level? You know?
And yesterday was no different.
Yesterday was absolutely no different. Look, and again, to refresh your memory, if you forgot, if you've got selective hearing, if you got amnesia, this is when he fought Kaiguchi. He dominated a guy that was one of the top 20 pound fighters in the world. And at that time, Kaiguchi, some people thought that was looked at as a pick'em fight.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought Kaiguchi was going to do the business. Even me, I thought Kaiguchi had it in him to do the business against Kenshiro. But Kenshiro made him look average, and he's not average at all. He was a lineal light flyweight champion. He's now already ranked top 3 or 4 in the rankings at the next weight class, flyweight.
Yeah.
He may be champion again at the another weight class. Kenshiro beat him with the straight right hand, the jab, the feints. It was one of the best performances in any big fight of 2022. So I have to continue to bring up the Kaiguchi fight because most boxing fans are like, what have you done lately for me? I have a long memory, right? And I'm going to show you guys this list because I created this list. I literally, after Kenshiro defeated Hecky Butler, I started thinking to myself because I was like, man, he's been champion for a long time. I know he's defended the belt a lot of times. So I wanted to know, like, amongst all the fighters in boxing, like all the world title defenses in the career, like where does it rank? Because I knew he was pretty up there.
Yeah.
So I literally spent 2 hours. I went to every fighter's career and I was counting how many world title defenses they had.
Yeah.
Now this list is from the after the Hecky Butler fight. So some of these guys on the list have fought since then. Like Inoue just fought, right? So Inoue's actually tied now. Inoue is at 16. He's tied with Ioka for the most in boxing.
Wow.
Like Canelo's fought since I made this list. He's at 15 now. So Canelo tied Crawford. And then Kenshiro, after that Hecky Butler fight, had 11 career world title defenses. He won yesterday. So now he has 12 career world title defenses. And look at the names that he's up there with.
I know.
He's 1 career world title defense behind Roman Gonzalez. And what is Roman Gonzalez? Roman Gonzalez is a Hall of Famer. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's an all-time great. He's a living legend. And look, he's above guys like Gal Estrada, you know, these people like that love Deontay Wilder. He's above the beloved Deontay Wilder. He's above guys like Navarrete and these kind of guys. So consistency, longevity, you know, a reign of dominance for not just 1 year, not just 2 years, not just 3 years, but we're talking about 7 years now. And look, in life and in boxing, you don't just judge guys on what they do when they're winning. You judge guys on what they do when they lose and they have a setback. He got knocked the hell out.
Yeah.
Even when I interviewed him, he said, I thought I was gonna retire from boxing.
Yeah.
And look, since that fight, he's went on a rampage. He's been knocking everything out. And the one time he doesn't knock someone out, now they want to say he's not that good and this, that, and the third, right? Like, what am I missing? Please tell me what am I missing with Kenshiro? Because let's review. Just let's look at his career in the vacuum. He gets knocked out in September of 2021 against Yabuki. All right. He was a big favorite over Yabuki. A lot of people thought that he was going to get knocked out again in the rematch. Not only did it not happen in the rematch, he packed him the hell up in 3 rounds. Wow. So that's kind of like what Lennox Lewis used to do. Lennox Lewis got knocked out by Hasim Rahman, came back in a rematch, knocked him out. Yep. You know, same type of thing. Then after that, he knocks out one of the best fighters in the weight class, the lineal champion, undefeated, his fellow countryman in a big fight in Japan on ESPN. Does everything. Beats the hell out of Kaiguchi. Then he was supposed to fight Jonathan Boma Gonzalez, but he doesn't. So, you know, Anthony Olas Kuaga, and shout out to him. Anthony Olas Kuaga was actually supposed to be on this live and do an interview with me, but some things came up. Yeah. So he'll be on. We'll be doing a live interview either tomorrow or another point during the week. But look, Olas Kuaga was a guy where there was some familiarity there. They had sparred in LA in 2022. He was 5-0 in camp with a guy like Junto Nakatani all the time, getting that good work. Was hungry to win, and he pushed Kenshiro. But even in that fight, you put a little pressure on him, it made a diamond. He got stopped. Hecky Butler, former multiple-time world champion from South Africa. Literally, ever since that loss, he's knocked everyone out in sight. except Canizales.
Well, yeah.
And that's not really that really shouldn't be an indictment on Kenshiro. That should actually be more of a credit to Canizales, right? You got anything you want to add to that, Pops?
Yeah, man. I mean, when I tell you what, when I see Canizales come out, I told Brendan, man, my boy might be in trouble tonight, man, because and you gotta give credit to like you said, give credit to Canizales for what he brought to the table and how he made the fight.
And Canizales, like y'all, like people are acting like people are really exposing themselves because Canizales isn't no regular fighter. This guy was a WBA champion.
I was gonna say that.
This guy is experienced, and truth be told, you know,
I just think people overreact sometimes. They
do overreact.
They don't put things in perspective like we're doing right
now.
Like,
look, ever since he got knocked out, he's knocked everybody out.
Yeah, so you can't just overreact.
That's how you know
crazy comments.
That's how you know, like when like the real great fighters in boxing, when they get knocked the hell out, what they do after that really shows you how great they are. Like that's why we could look at a guy like Manny Pacquiao, right? Manny Pacquiao isn't just great because he's an 8th division lineal champion or 8th division champion or whatever. He's not great because just because the fighters beat, but he's great because that when he did suffer setbacks against Eric Morales and Marquez and these kind of guys, he was able to come back and still beat the highest level opposition in the sport, right? So that's why he's looked at as an all-time great. And so I'm not saying that Kenshiro is Manny Pacquiao, but in a sense, just like Lennox Lewis, just like Manny Pacquiao and some of the great fighters yesteryear, he's been able to, since the only setback of his career, beat the shit out of almost everyone. And the one guy he didn't, you know, was a former champion who deserved to be at that level with him. Now, look, as far as him being a pound fighter, look, we'll use the Ring magazine, and the question is he top 10 pound for pound? So the question's got to be, does Kenshiro deserve to be above anybody on this list? So I'll tell you guys this, just to be fair, he's not going to be above Terrence Crawford. He's not going to be above Inoue. He's not going to be above Usyk. He's not going to be above even Canelo, even though I like him a lot more than Canelo. He's not going to be above Beterbiev, nor is he going to be above Bivol. But I'm going to tell you straight like this. Once you get past Bivol and you get from 7 to 10, I put him above everyone from 7 to 10. Everyone, you know, except maybe, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. Maybe Teofimo may have an argument. Maybe Teofimo, but like, look, Devin Haney. I like Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney's a fantastic fighter. I think Devin Haney's on the right track.
Right.
But Devin Haney has not beaten the caliber of fighters, nor has he had the longevity in his career of being at the championship level for 7 years like Kenshiro. So I can't put Devin Haney above Kenshiro. He never fought a fighter in any of his weight classes that was the caliber of a Kayaguchi and dominated him like that. I'm still waiting for Devin to get that fight so he can ultimately show us what he can do, but he just hasn't gotten it. Maybe it is his fault, maybe it isn't, but he hasn't gotten that fight yet. But he has a lot of accomplishments. Maybe he can be on the lower part of the pound for pound list, but our class can't share above Devin. Now, Earl Spence Jr.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
First of all, let's establish one thing before we even get into Kenshiro versus Earl Spence. Earl Spence Jr. shouldn't even be on the pound for pound list. Earl Spence has not done anything pound for pound worthy for years now.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be on the damn list. And it's not just Kenshiro who I will put above him. There's guys in other weight classes on the list I'll put above Earl. So, you know, and look, he just got beat the hell up by Terrence Crawford. And he hasn't come back yet to show, you know, how does he respond to a knockout loss. Like he hasn't attempted yet what Kenshiro's already proven 4 times over, which is, you know, coming back from a loss and being high-level opposition in dominant fashion, right? So I'll put Kenshiro above him too. As far as Gervonta Davis, I like Tank. I think Tank is great for boxing. You know, selling tickets and everything, right? But we know the MO. They don't want to put Tank in there with certain fighters like the other names on the pound, like the TOs and the Devins and the Shakurs, because, you know, they feel like they can keep the money in-house, keep the fights in-house, and those are risky fights. So Tank is almost 30 years old. I'm still waiting for him. I'm still waiting for Tank to have like a Kenshiro Kayaguchi type of performance, you know, against that caliber opposition. Hasn't had it yet. Now, Tio's interesting because Tio's career in a similar is similar in some ways to Kenshiro because, you know, he fought a guy that he wasn't supposed to lose to in George Kambosos.
Right.
He lost to him. Now, unlike Ken, he didn't get a rematch with George Kambosos Jr.
Right.
He lost to him, and he's been trying to get that rematch, and George don't want to give it to him.
Wow.
Because George is smart.
You know,
George is smart.
Yeah, you know.
George is smart. But after that loss, what has he done? He's come back. He won 140. He beat a guy that was the man of the division in Josh Taylor. He's been the 2-time lineal champion. So I think you could argue Tio based on accomplishments that he deserves to be above Ken. But look, even in the vacuum with him, he just hasn't had the longevity. He won his first world title in 2019. That was what is that, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
5 years is cool, but 5 ain't 7.
Nope.
Right? So I think Kenshiro is a clear pound-for-pound fighter. I'm not saying he should be top 5. I'm not saying he should be number 1, but he is the best fighter in a weight class. Ring Magazine has fighters on the pound-for-pound list above Kenshiro that have not truly established themselves as the best fighter in the damn weight class.
On a consistent basis.
Earl Spence is not the best fighter in his weight class. Earl Spence is not even the second best fighter in his weight class.
Please,
but he's on the list. Devin Haney, he was undisputed champion, so there's an argument there, but he just hasn't had that body of work yet. Teofimo Lopez has had the body of work. Gervonta Davis has never been the best fighter in his weight class. And I don't care if you think he's the best fighter in the weight class, he's never beaten the other guys that were perceived to be the best. So you can't put these guys above Kenshiro, who's been established as the top light flyweight in the world for about 7 years now. You know, apart from like a 2 or 3 month span where Yabuki had the belt, everyone's known for about 7 years that the best fighter at 108 pounds, the man to beat, is that little Japanese boy from Kyoto, Kenshiro. So is he a pound-for-pound fighter? 1000% he is. And anybody who tells you otherwise, they're just not educated enough, and they gotta do more homework. I mean, how are you gonna discredit a guy who's been getting knocked? Like, he comes back after a knockout loss and reels out 4 straight knockouts against top competition. How many fighters are doing that in boxing today? Yeah. You got anything you want to add? I'm sorry, I'm talking like
no. You bring out the points in every season, and it goes with the saying that actions speak louder than words, and everybody that's flapping their mouth without opening up his actions, what Kenshiro has done, then you don't really appreciate or not giving him the credit that he really deserves. So that's why we have channels like us, like you, that know you're not trying to be dick riding. You just calling it the way you see it.
I'm going to say, and look, we have other people in boxing like give their opinions on Kenshiro, if he's a pound-for-pound fighter or if he's a Hall of Famer. I want to play some of these clips. We got one from my main man, Lukey Boxing. Shout out to him. And then one from good old James Smith in this corner. So I'm going to play him for you guys, and then we'll dissect from there. So here's Lukey Boxing on his take on Kenshiro being, is he a pound-for-pound fighter? I'll play it for you guys. Here it is.
Kenshiro Teraji defeated Carlos Canizales today, and it was not his best performance, if we're being honest. I do enjoy Kenshiro. My guy Dakota called me today and did a great breakdown. He said that he fights a lot like Giovanni Cabrera, the way he holds his hands and fights at distance. I also see an attitude where he fights a little bit about like Arturo Gatti. This is his 12th world title win. He gets hit a lot for an elite fighter, so I don't see him as a pound-for-pound fighter, as some great boxing minds put him. But I think he's a very fun fighter, an exciting fighter, and probably benefits from being at a division where there's not a ton of power punchers. He also has the misfortune of fighting in an era where Inoue and Ioka happen to inhabit the division, and frankly, I just don't see him as that good. Really fun fighter, though. Great fight, majority decision win. He gutted it out. I think Canizales could have won it, but if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it.
All right, so shout out to Lukey. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him. Good channel, good boxing mind. I don't agree with him when he says he hasn't fought power punchers. Kayaguchi was a power puncher. You know, a lot of these guys he's fought have been power punchers.
You don't think that this guy last night was throwing power punches?
Yeah.
Come on.
Canizales is a big power puncher. As far as
no disrespect to him.
I'm not disrespecting him, but like Earl. Okay, another point he made was these guys. He's not a pound-for-pound fighter because he gets hit too much, right? Well, does that mean Artur Beterbiev not a pound-for-pound fighter? He gets hit a lot.
Oh man,
is Earl Spence? I mean, he's still on the list. Is he on the power? Why is he on the pound? If that's what we're gonna use, why is Artur Beterbiev, Earl Spence, and Gervonta Davis on the pound? They all get hit. They all get hit flush every fight. It's boxing. You get hit, especially if you're an aggressive, come forward fighter who looks to knock guys out. So, I like Lukey. I respect him. He definitely knows his boxing. I'm gonna respectfully disagree with him on that. But as far as the other clip, we had one of the old guard in boxing, my man James Smith of In This Corner. Here's a clip from before the fight, and they were talking about Kenshiro. Here we go.
Next Tuesday, over in Japan, Kenshiro Teraji is going to defend his WBA and WBC light flyweight titles against Carlos Canizales. Japan right now is in a real golden era thanks to Naoya Inoue, his younger brother Takuma, Kazuto Ioka, the Shigeoka brothers who hold 2 of the 3 belts at 105. Kenshiro Teraji is also a part of that era. And he's been a world champion for all but about 6 months since 2017. So he's got a lot of title fights under his belt. And I believe, Taraji's a really skilled boxer puncher. He sets up his knockouts with a high work rate, high accuracy. And I think those traits will help him score another later round TKO.
Teraji, a Hall of Famer someday?
I think so. He really is. He's very skilled, like Kazuto Ioka, like Naoya Inoue. He's got a very good record of long-term dominance over his division. And that's a big factor for me as far as who to vote for the Hall of Fame.
Wow. So there you have it. You know what? I'm not gonna argue you guys no more. You know what? There's no argument. He doesn't need to be on the pound for pound list, because every time he fights with the body of work he has and the performances he has, it's beyond pound for pound. It's about, is he a Hall of Famer? And truth be told, I still think there's a little bit more work to do. But I would say out of all the active fighters in boxing, I would lean more towards him being a Hall of Famer than not being a Hall of Famer. Because you look, when you talk about the Hall of Fame, you talk about how good was a fighter in his prime. How long did they reign? How long did they dominate? And for 7 years in this weight class, we've known that Kenshiro Teraji is the best fighter in the weight class, and he's been the man to beat. So that right there speaks volumes. But hopefully he gets a chance to go undisputed. And those are my my little thoughts about him being a pound for pound fighter. Anything you want to add? Or
no, I agree with you. I mean, a lot of things is you have to be consistent in what you do. And one thing you could say about him, when we talked about all the other pound for pound fighters, you brought out Spence, you brought out even Lopez, you brought out even Haney. No disrespect to them, you brought out we brought out, but I don't think nobody has dominated or has run the consistency as good.
It's few fighters. It's few fighters in boxing in any weight class that have been as dominant in their weight class or weight classes as Kenshiro. The only guys you could say have been more dominant than him over the years have been like the biggest names in a way. Maybe the Crawford, even like Canelo, Roman Gonzalez, barely. If you want to go by title defenses.
And I will also go with that. Say it's like today in boxing, a lot of boxers are not willing to stay in their division and stay in that division. Some jump up and down. They don't stay consistency, but this guy's been consistent, proven he's fought the best in that division and still doing it now, and he's going to continue to do it, and then he's going to move up. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But let's get to a couple of the comments. Shout out to everyone here. Hira wants to know, if Canizales is an elite fighter, why doesn't PBC or Top Rank sign him? Because PBC doesn't really sign fighters that small, and when they do, they're like the weakest champions in the division, like Joan and Cajas, Fernando Martinez. I mean, I know Pop's like Martinez. I think Martinez is a good fighter, but I don't think he's the best. No, one. Maybe he gets a chance to prove me wrong. But I just like the story, the way he got there. Yeah,
And then he said, "So BT, you're gonna count Carlos Canizales as regular title as the real belt? Okay, that means was it the regular? Okay, well, if it wasn't the real one, then he wasn't champion. But nonetheless, he's been one of the top contenders at light flyweight for a while. If you go on Ring Magazine and you looked at who's been at light flyweight division towards the top for the last couple of years, he's been Canizales, and he showed his quality against Kenshiro last night. Belt or no belt, he showed his quality against Kenshiro. So that's what I'll say about that. Punchy wants to know from you, Pops, do you have your own pound for pound list?
Right now, I don't really have one right now.
We might gotta do that. Have the BT pound for pound list and have the Pop pound for pound list.
I'll tell you, I'm not really big on the pound for pound, but I will give you a list if you want one. Not off the top of my head, I have to sit down and look at things, but I don't believe in that because it's all fucking opinionated. I want to see facts, and the facts is we're talking about this fighter right now in Kenshiro, who's been 6 years in his division, consistently fighting top of the top and rebounding for the losses and showing why it is. Just because some of us perceive him to want it better for him last night or whatever the case is, then we want to jump and toot the horn the wrong way. You can't do that. You have to appreciate a fighter like that.
Exactly. So that's all I gotta say about Kenshiro. But last point. All right, and this will be strictly about the Venezuelan Carlos Canizales because he deserves his own segment, and we're gonna give it to him because it takes two to tango. It was a classic fight, not just because of Kenshiro, but really, Canizales did enough to win. I think he if they would have given it to him, I would have been happy.
Yeah, it could have gone either way.
It could have went either way.
And my son was saying too after the fight, he says, "I'm willing to have another rematch."
He earned a rematch, and I think Canizales showed that he's world class. He's creme de la creme. And I was saying it during the live.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying that if Kenshiro ain't his best for the whole 12 rounds, he gonna lose this fight.
Yeah.
And in the minds of many, Kenshiro did lose this fight.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are saying this is a robbery. I won't say it's a robbery. I thought it was too close to be a robbery, but it was.
I would say tie goes. They both up. I get the tie for me. If I was a judge, would go more to the champion, no matter how close it was, because of how he came back. And me looking at the physique, and I shouldn't judge it that way, but that's the way I seen it. I thought that Canizales was going to go in there and run right through him and knock the wind out of him and just push the shit out of him. And that didn't happen.
To be fair, when he was touching him at times, that was what was happening.
Yeah.
You know, his punches were moving, visibly moving Kenshiro.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. But he showed heart. He stuck with his game plan, and he had the will to figure it out, to pull it through. So yeah, like I say, if they run it back, I would love to see it run it back because it was one of the most exciting fights I see this year.
So the question now becomes for Canizales, what the hell is next?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say it like this: after what I've seen from him in this fight, and even like when he fought Esteban Bermudez and got stopped by him, that's first of all, his only loss against Bermudez. Bermudez is a very good fighter. I mean, even the great Hirota Kayaguchi, who was the lineal champion in this weight class, he came to Mexico to fight Bermudez, and Bermudez gave Kayaguchi all he could handle. I mean, Kayaguchi had to really work to earn that defense. He had to grind that one out. That was Canizales' only loss was against Bermudez, and you know, I just think he's been coming up short in the big fights.
Yeah,
but he's 30 years old. He's still at a decent age, and I think that Canizales, if that guy shows up, the one that fought Kenshiro, he's capable of. And personally, just being honest, I think he'll whoop everybody in the division not named Kenshiro. I mean, if you go through, if you just look at the division, right?
And you can see that you can tell a fighter that's a complacent fighter and a fighter that's a consistent. I mean, that's a hungry fighter, and you still see that hunger. Even if he was a champion, a regular champion, whatever he was.
I'm telling you straight away right now. If Jonathan Gonzalez fought Canizales, that's gonna be the end of it. I mean, as good as he is, he ain't lost a light flower yet. That'd be his first loss. I don't think he may have some success boxing, but the thing about Canizales is Canizales can box too. There were times where he was outboxing Kenshiro, double jabs, triple jabs, double jabs to set up the overhand right, jab, and then angling off to the side. I mean, he's very skilled, very skilled fighter.
He was consistent with everything he did too,
right?
Until he got tired. But other than that, he was bringing it to him. And you could tell. Like when I started in the first round, I was okay. But as the fight went on, I said, man, I could see why he was a champion.
You talk about Adrian Curiel versus Nochinga. Let's unpack that, right? Nochinga is very good from the outside. I have questions about if Nochinga can even make the weight properly, right? Because I just don't see how he got knocked out so easily by Curiel, who really doesn't have a reputation for being a big puncher. And Nochinga is a big guy for that weight class. So I have questions about his durability and making the weight, but we'll see how it goes. But I just think even if he could make the weight, if he was at his best, I just think that the intelligent pressure and the volume jab of a guy like Canizales and the angles, that's more the angles, the way he's able to throw the overhand right, step up to the side. He would give Nochinga hell. I think he probably won that fight. Curiel, I think, would be tailor-made for Canizales.
Wow.
Because Curiel likes to come forward. Curiel is not a back foot boxer. He's literally whatever you think a Mexican fighter is, that's him. That's him. Definitely. And that's not going to work with Canizales. Canizales comes forward too, but Canizales comes forward. He got dimensions to him. So look, I'm very intrigued to see if Kenshiro don't give him the rematch. I'm intrigued to see who wants to step up and take the Canizales test.
Wow.
Because I think anyone in the division, if Elwin Soto wanted it, he can get it too.
Yeah, I would love to see him fight again, though. I mean, that's how impressed I was with him. I mean, he wasn't a sloppy fighter. He wasn't going crazy. He literally has skills, and it showed.
Yeah, and look, you gotta give Venezuelan boxing. Hoyland retired. He was the face of Venezuelan boxing for a while. Ismael Barroso has caused quite a buzz in the 140 division with knocking out O'Hara Davies, and really he should have beat Rolly. Now you got Canizales doing this thing. So Venezuelan boxing all of a sudden got a nice shot in the arm again. So good thing to see. Now, as far as what could be next for Canizales, I like to see right here because I think it's a very makeable fight. I like this fight right here. And shout out to my man on X, OLE. He said that he wants to see Shokichi Iwata versus Canizales next. Now, this is a great fight for the division because Iwata was supposed to be the next big thing. He was one of the most hyped up prospects and contenders in Japan. and then he fought Jonathan Bomo Gonzalez
And that was in there.
and got outboxed right in his hometown, right in his home
Wow.
country. So that's one of the wins where, that's why I give Jonathan Gonzalez his respect, even if he's talking,
Smack.
nonsense.
Yeah.
I give him his respect. This fight would be amazing because since that fight against Bomo Gonzalez, Iwata's been on a little war path. 3 knockouts since the loss to Bomo Gonzalez.
Okay.
His last win actually came against the former 105-pound champion Rene Marquardo, and obviously that's a small guy moving up in weight, but Cuarto's a good fighter, and Iwata I think would be the kind of test that Canizales would perfect for Canizales after this fight. Because look, if you look at the rankings too, it makes they're literally 1 and 2. They're 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 in the WBC and WBA.
Wow.
So that right there politically, it makes sense. You could line it up.
Yep.
And again, Iwata, he liked to come forward. And he I think Iwata from one time I seen him fight against Gonzalez, he may have some of the same problems that our boy Seigo Yuri Akui had against Dalakian, which is the fact that like Japanese fighters are very disciplined and regimented, but sometimes they like to stay mid-range too long.
I think one thing
I think against a guy like Canizales, he would have to make things a little bit rough and ugly, and I don't think he'd have it within himself to make it rough and ugly.
I think one thing we talked about,
my opinion,
Kenshiro last night was that he keeps his head in a straight line.
Kenshiro keeps his head right down the straight line.
A problem is,
and he relies on his feet to get in and out. Kind of like in a sense like Bivol. Bivol's the same way. Bivol ain't doing this shit.
Yeah.
Bivol, right, his head's right on the line. He relies on his feet to get in and out. But sometimes, if you're Kenshiro, he's cocking that right hand. You're in the pocket. You throw the right hand, or if you miss, you get countered. Your head's right there to get countered. So, look, I think there's plenty of great fights out there for Carlos Canizales. I mean, look, you got Masamichi Ibuki, who's a former champion in the rankings. You got Angel Acosta, who's a top contender. You got the Filipino who fought Chinga Reggie Sugarnob. You got him. You got Elwin. So you got a couple of former champions in the weight class.
Who's he signed with? Like a big.
I'm not even sure who his promoter is.
Because I mean, I would like to see him fight more, Brendan, to be honest.
Yeah, but look, he put Kenshiro through the absolute ringer, and that's not easy to do.
No, man. I mean, when you said before the fight, before we came in live, you said, "Pops, I'm gonna tell you straight, it's gonna be a tough fight for Kenshiro. We don't know what I'm gonna expect from him, but I'm gonna show you. This guy right here is not one to play with."
I said, if Kenshiro ain't on his P's and Q's, it's gonna be a very long, tough, arduous night at the office for him. And so,
and he held on. So I mean, he proved why he's still there and why he's consistent. Like I said, it's a hard fight. When after the fight, he came out and said, I'm just so glad to have these belts, because basically he was saying it could. Honestly, I felt it could have gone either way. Yeah. And he wouldn't be mad about it, but he's just happy that they stayed with him. So he's going to learn from that. And he actually said that after that, he's going to go ahead and do some more adjustments. So he's going to do a lot of things differently, hopefully. And I think for a lot of Japanese, I think it's not a lot of Japanese, but the majority, I see them, they got to work on their head movement a little bit more. And so just the fundamentals standing right there.
Yeah. But as far as in closing with Canizales, the 3 fights for him, if he's not getting the Kenshiro rematch, the 3 fights for him are Shokichi Iwata, and then him versus one of the former champions like a Masamichi Ibuki or like a Elwin Soto. Those are the kind of fights that I think could be good for him to get him a potential win and show that hey, he still is on that world class top tier level. So that's pretty much I've covered all the bases on this fight.
You tell me one thing. That magazine you got yesterday, who was on the thing? The Japanese magazine from Japan.
There are like 4 of them.
It was 4 in there?
It was 4 of them, yeah.
Oh.
So there's like an Inoue. I got a package from Japan yesterday. Like Inoue Topales.
Oh, wow.
Kenshiro. Yeah. Ioka and John Real Casimiro was one of them too.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
Oh, man, you got a whole collection of that.
But nonetheless, we gotta acknowledge some comments here, guys. Let me see. We're officially about to be 1 hour in. I'm not planning on making this a long live, but let me see. Shout out to my man Point Fire. He says love and respect from Scarborough, Toronto, Canada. Shout out to the Canadians, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, if y'all got any questions, I'll take some questions for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll get up on out of here. I just wanted to come here and put the final finishing touches on what was such a great fight. Talk a little Kenshiro, talk a little Canizales. Tomorrow, what's tomorrow? What's tomorrow? Thursday?
I don't even know. I don't know my days.
Tomorrow's Thursday. So tomorrow, I'm not sure what tomorrow's live is going to be about. Maybe it'll be about Munguia, the Munguia card, because I only we have to talk about too much about the Munguia card. But
then whatever else we got. I'll tell you what, but I'm enjoying all your prospect videos, though. I'll tell you that. I love
They're
them.
hard to make though.
I know they're hard to make.
Take a long time to make.
I'm not hating it, but I like the fact that when you come out, it's like learning something new within the, or when you add something new to the food or the salad. I enjoy them. I know it's a lot of work on you.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
We're working hard, but
Yeah.
listen, I mean, I'll tell you guys this today. Golden Boy Promotions they announced the card in for February 15th out in Southern California, and it's Jojo Diaz versus I forgot the guy's name. Jojo Diaz is fighting on this little card, but Eric Tudor, South Florida's very own, he'll be on the undercard. So I'm adding it to the list. I'm gonna be at a lot of fights coming up soon. I'm gonna be at Angelo Leo versus Mike Planilla on January 31st in Plant City, Florida for Pro Box. I will be at Pistol Pete Dobson versus Connor Ben February 3rd in Las Vegas. I will also be at Team Lopez versus Jermaine Ortiz February 8th in Las Vegas, and I will be at the Jojo Diaz fight for Eric Tudor on the undercard February 15th in Southern California. So if you're gonna be if there's anybody out there that's gonna be at any of these fights, if you see your boy BT at these fights, feel free to say hi, stop, say what's up, True School. I'll stop for a couple minutes. I like talking to people. I always love when I meet people that say they watch the channel because I be in my own world sometimes. So I'm really excited to get on the road again, take the True School show on the road again outside of South Florida because
it's crazy.
I ain't been outside of Florida since Japan.
I call this a pit stop for him.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I ain't been outside of Florida.
Even though he's been busy here like 24 hours, but it's a pit stop. And then when you get going for these boxes, and you're gone. I'm
gone. I'm up and I'm at it.
Yeah,
so I ain't been outside of Florida since I came back from Japan last May. So,
so he's due.
I'm due. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, my man Point Fire says, "Love your research and insights, gentlemen. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening.
Appreciate it.
I'm always thankful. Like whether there's 50 people, 5 people, 100, 80, 200, 1,000. I'm always appreciative of people that come and listen to the live. Because look, the boxing content creation space is so oversaturated. There's a million channels y'all can be listening to, and a lot of you guys come here like every live. So
I appreciate that.
I'm appreciative. Even I don't care how many.
We have our opinions, but we agree or disagree. But that's boxing.
Punchy says there's a Canadian fight tomorrow on ESPN. I'm not familiar with the fighters.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I saw that card. Yeah, I saw that card on BoxRec. I know the one guy that everyone keeps asking me about, Steve Claggett. He's on that card. But I don't know a lot about Steve Claggett, but I might check it out. I might check it out tomorrow.
Give him a little bit. Yeah.
See if there's anybody that like really catches my eye. There's so many fighters in boxing in so many weight classes from so many countries. So it's like I always tell these fighters when I do meet them, I'm like, man, please, like when you go in the ring, please show out, because for someone like me, there's some fighters. There's some fighters that I don't think about until they got a fight signed, and then when that fight, I don't think about them.
And we also appreciate the subscribers to attention some of the prospects that you see open up his eyes, because he's a one man. I don't know how he does it. One man octopus. Yeah,
we try. We definitely do our best, but let me see what else we got here. We got he said credibility is so yeah. I mean, I try to be as credible as possible, because there's a lot of channels here on YouTube. And
I'll say what going on with that comment right there, credibility. What I like about my son is my son,
bro.
Yeah, my son is that and I said it before in the other live. He doesn't want to talk about any fight he doesn't know until he does his research. I've tried before to name any fighters. He said no.
Can't talk about it if I don't know.
Yes, if I don't do my homework on him,
we're not gonna, because we're not gonna bullshit the viewers. We're not gonna do that.
And I'll be in my room on the other side, and he's watching like 10 fights of some fighter he don't even know. But I like that when he's right there on that part.
Let me see. But yeah, drop your questions below, guys. We're like 1 hour and 3 minutes in. I'm gonna wrap it up when we get to 1 hour and 10 minutes. So if you got any questions, we'll be here for like 7 more minutes, and then we'll get up on out of here. Here we go, bro. I ain't seen them in a while. Brandon Smithy says Saudi is not good for boxing because the way they treat their women and Christians and people who are not Muslim. I never been there, Brendan, so I can't really speak to that. But
yeah, that's their culture over there. That's part of their culture. I was there with the 82nd Airborne, and I learned a lot how they can have as many wives as they want, but they really treat it like second-class citizens.
I ain't never been there.
Like, I mean, you'll be eating here, they'll be on the other side over there.
I ain't never.
And to me, I think that's their culture. As an American, I have to respect that. I don't know if they abuse them, they don't abuse them. I know if they have to have more wives, they have. I've heard a lot of things, but
I've heard like Saudis become really westernized. Yeah. So I don't know, but the thing is, I'm probably. I don't want to make no promises I can't keep, but I have reason to believe. I'll say I have reason to believe that in this calendar year, somehow I'm gonna find my way in Saudi.
Yeah.
So when I go, I'll give you guys reports while I'm there, and You know,
Mhm.
well, maybe if they're not great reports, maybe I should keep those to myself while
Yeah.
I'm there. But
It'll be good. You know?
no,
mean,
yeah,
this-
I'm sure it'll be good. I'm sure it'll be good when I go, and it's for boxing, so it can't really be.
Yeah,
too
it's
bad.
just the culture is different, big time.
See,
But I do like the turkey ashik.
man's talking about Ajit Caballel versus Philip Hergovich. Nah, that's gonna be Jared Anderson's fight.
He's playing with you.
Do you think Alan Picasso is the real deal? He's fighting on the Munguia card. I've seen and I've heard so much about Alan Picasso. I actually am gonna take some time, probably tonight or tomorrow, to watch Alan Picasso. I've heard a lot about him. I don't have a real opinion on Alan Picasso, but give me a day or two and ask me that same question, and I'll have a loaded answer for you.
Sure.
But I've heard good things about him. I heard and I know he's from Mexico. I know he's a volume puncher. I know he's got like a crazy. He's like 12-0 or something like that. So it'll be my first impression of him this week when he fights.
But you're not gonna talk about it.
But I'm not gonna sit here and BS you.
Yeah, I did my homework first.
Look, the truth is they have their own culture. Everyone else has theirs. Respect their culture as something. Exactly.
Yep.
I'm not here to.
No, we're not trying to bash. I'm just telling from what I learned when I was in the military out in the desert.
Yeah. Punchy says he's seen Alan Picasso a couple times and he's not convinced. Well, look, I don't know. I don't have an opinion. I just know that he fits the bill of a lot of Mexican fighters, which is, he's a high volume puncher. I've heard everything from what you're saying, like that he's regular to like that he's basic. But I don't know. I don't really know until I watch him.
Yeah, he won't make Brandon will not make a judgment until, I'm telling you. I try to talk to him about other fighters.
Because there's fighters like all the top ranked prospects get all the hype. Like if you didn't know anything about boxing, you think Duke Reagan was the second coming of freaking
the governor.
The governor,
Please.
right? Duke Reagan was a good amateur, but I think his style isn't suited for the pros. But like if I didn't watch Duke Reagan my damn self and I let Top Rank tell it, then I would have known myself.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
That's
why I say it's always good to do your homework, whatever you do.
Like I like Tiger Johnson.
Yeah,
but I think Tiger Johnson still needs a lot of. I need some work. It's a lot of prospects in boxing, but David Picasso, they're saying that
I like that name though. You know why?
He's got a cool name
because when he goes in that ring, he's just like the artist. Paints a picture.
From what I heard though, he know the defensive fighter. So if you think he gonna go in there and be slick and
I don't know. I just took his name. I just made something. No disrespect to him. I just like Picasso, the artist. That's why I said that. Like I said, once he does it,
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Oscar Calal was on the card too.
Is he
the Puerto Rican?
Yeah,
the guy that I believe might be the most pound for pound, like skilled Puerto Rican fighter in boxing. He's on the card defending his belt. Trying to inch his way closer towards the big fights.
It's well deserving.
The Sheik Joker brothers and whatnot. So
he deserves that. He's a good fighter.
Let me see what else we got. We got a lot of fight. We do got a lot of fights coming in boxing. What's the other fights in boxing? We got Munguia. We got him.
Munguia rider.
I know the 17th. We got what's his name? The 17th is Fury Usyk. That same day on the 17th is actually one of the fights I'm excited for the most. I'm actually more excited about this fight than Fury and Usyk, which is Eduardo Sugar Nunez versus Shavkat Shavkat Rakhimov. That fight's gonna be a banger. That fight's gonna be a straight banger. That for the IBF 130 eliminator.
Oh wow!
One of that fight becomes Joe Cordina's mandatory. So I like that fight. Two big punchers.
Joe Cordina disappointed me. He don't know what he wants. So
shout out to World Ring Boxing. Okinawa, the hospitality will always be remembered. All right, I don't know who that is, but shout out to him, whoever and wherever that is. That's in Japan for sure. Beterbiev versus Bivol. That ain't finalized yet, so I can't say that that's the best fight on the schedule because it ain't finalized yet. But apart from the fights that I'm going to, like outside of the fights in that little stretch, Eduardo Sugar Nunez versus Rakhimov is a good one. Fury Usyk's obviously a good one. What's the other one? I had one in my head just now. I just forgot about it. There's a lot of good fights. Apparently now PBC talking about it, people think that Tank's gonna fight Frank Martin. So we'll see how it goes. A lot of moving parts going on in boxing.
Stay tuned.
Oh, it's Zepeda versus Hughes. Oh, I'll tell you one more before I get up and out of here. The fight I'm really excited about, and I'll probably be the only one of like 3 people in the world excited about this fight, is Richardson Hitchens versus Gustavo Lemos from Argentina. Because Gustavo Lemos is this 29-0 power puncher from Argentina.
Johnny was
Yeah, he told me about him. And he's been in the IBF rankings for a long time. So these guys like George Kambosos could have fought him, didn't want to fight him. He fought his biggest fight was against Lee Selby, who was obviously former world champion. George Kambosos Jr. Yeah, do you want to know why he retired? Gustavo Lemos put him in retirement.
That it was?
George Kambosos Jr. was going life and death with Lee Selby, but Gustavo Lemos packed him in 5 rounds. Happy retirement.
Yeah.
Happy retirement.
So he's a tough fighter.
Tough fighter. You know, we'll see if he can get past the Hitchens jab. I'll tell you, if Richard Hitchens can make this fight boring, I respect him because it's
the guys is it like that.
This guy can really punch. His boxing skills ain't up to like the
top of the top, but he's got
top of the top boxing skill wise, but definitely big puncher, dangerous, high risk, low reward. I give Hitchens respect because when this guy's at 35, a lot of these guys would never fight him,
and he did,
and he's fighting them. Not to say he's like some boogeyman because the reality is most of you guys probably don't even know who he is. He's not that known, but I'm telling you, if they knew who he was, they still wouldn't fight him because he's just not a lot of money in it. He punches hard. It's a dangerous fight. So I respect Hitchens because he's taking on a high risk, low reward guy.
He's like a Matias type fighter where not the same skills, but I'm saying that nobody really know about him.
Yeah, and that'll be on the undercard. The date is April 6th. It'll be on the undercard of Diego Pacheco versus I think the guy's name is Sean McKellen. You know, so we'll see how it goes. Point Fire says, wishing you continued success and prosperity, veterans, fathers, and I will concur with that. I agree with that one.
Thank you so much. God bless to you and your family.
Bless. Oh yeah, Nick Ball versus Ray Vargas, another good one. That's a good fight. You know, Nick Ball gets a chance at a world title. So look, a lot of good fights in boxing. Odobek Komatov versus Raymond Ford March 2nd. Down here in South Florida, I'll be at the March 1st card. Mundo Boxing Promotions. We're gonna have Lorenz Medina on that card. You know, upcoming heavyweight prospect. Daniel Bailey coming off a big win against what's the kid? Hawkins, Malik Hawkins. You know, a lot of good local talent on that card. So I'll be at that card March 1st. So a lot of stuff going on. But listen, guys, it's 90 days of boxing, so I got to pace myself.
So tomorrow we'll be back.
Tomorrow we'll be live again. I'm not sure what we're talking about, but I don't want to say he'll be on me live tomorrow. But I was supposed to have Anthony Olas Kuwaga on this live, but he wound up kind of like some things came up, so he couldn't make this live. Maybe tomorrow he comes on the next live, so we'll see. But we got a couple interviews lined up for you guys. Friday night, late night, we're gonna have Lionel Thompson late in the night, like 11, like 2 a.m. I think Saturday my time, 11 p.m. his time. So that should be fun.
I always like listening to him because he just tells you everything the way it is.
We got 2024 Olympian Jamal Harvey coming on the live.
I like him too.
You know, really good fighter. So a lot of good stuff coming up here on True School Sports. But listen, we're gonna get up on out of here. I'm gonna get some rest. Check out all the content, a lot of videos. The channel's growing. I'm really happy about it. Keep supporting.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you all for being here. Take care of yourself. Take care of your families. Make sure you exercise. Eat your food. Say your prayers. Take your vitamins.
Yeah.
And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just here from doing it. So until next time, take care, guys.